Welcome back to the reading vlog. I don't really know how to start these. So yeah. Another week, another reading vlog. It is Thursday afternoon. Here's what the plan is for the weekend. We're not doing anything this weekend, and I have several ebooks that I need to get through and an audiobook from the library that I need to finish. So the audiobook from the library that I'm working on is, let me pull it up, is In a Garden Burning Gold by Rory Power. I read Wilder Girls by Rory Power 2 years ago now, and I liked that one. That one's a YA. It's a YA fantasy, but it's a little more thriller, lightly dark academia, but only because it's set at a school. Was it a school? I vaguely remember it being set at a school on an island. Anyway, so I read that one. Now I'm reading In a Garden Burning Gold, and I wanted to read this one because I thought it was gay. I thought it was a gay couple. Like, I think it's a fantasy romance, but it's not. It's not gay. And I'm not 100% sure that it's a fantasy romance. I'm 17% of the way through. I've listened to about 2.5 hours of the audiobook so far, and so far I have no idea what's going on. Like, it's a little weird. And I remember Wilder Girls being a little bit weird. So yeah, it's a little weird. It's a little confusing, but I'm enjoying it overall. The Garden Burning Gold follows two main characters who are twins, Rhea and Lexos. Their father is in charge of ruling this, I don't know, I don't think it's the world. I think it's like a small continent, maybe. I'm not really clear on that. And they've been doing this for years, like 80 plus years. And they control the tides, the seasons, and they do all of that with some sort of magic. Rhea specifically, what I've learned about her so far is that she has a suitor for every season. And at the end of the season, she kills them, and then the season changes. That's kind of dark. So they have been doing this for years and years and years, and their father is becoming increasingly like unpredictable and angry. And so what is happening in this book is there's a movement, an independence movement happening, and their father's rule is weakening. So the twins, the two oldest twins, Rhea and Lexos, are trying to figure out what they can do to stop it. So yeah, so that's kind of what the premise of the book is, but so far, nothing has happened. I think that things are getting ready to start happening because Lexos has confided with Rhea that one of the people coming to potentially be a suitor for her for this season is not someone that they were expecting to come, because he's like the only son of a family a family group or something like that. He's like the last heir or something like that. And so they're at this dinner getting ready to pick suitors again. I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about this one yet, but I'm working on it. I'm reading The Toll, the final book in the Arc of a Scythe series by Neal Schusterman. I am already 15% of the way through that, and I just started it this morning. I am loving it so far. I'm so excited to finish this series. Like, I can't wait to see where this goes after the end of the last book. So at the end of the last book, the island of the Enduring Heart sunk beneath the sea. Like half of the scythes were killed, all of the high blades were killed. Basically, there's no like governing Scythe body anymore. Scythe Goddard got away. He is now claiming that he's the High Blade of Mid-America. And Citra and Rowan were in the vault of the Enduring Heart when the island sunk. Marie Curie is gone. Scythe Faraday and his new assistant, whose name I can't remember, Manira, I think, were on their way to the land of Nod, which is the fail-safe for if the Scythedom ever like gets out of hand. The Thunderhead has lost it. Everyone is unsavory except for Grayson Tolliver. And now, at the point of the book that I'm at, they've, like, Citra and Rowan have been found. A whole bunch of Nimbus agents were sent to the land of Nod. So Faraday they're all coming together and trying to figure out what that is. We haven't heard anything from Goddard yet, aside from like the little notes and stuff that the Scythedoms are sending back and forth to each other. Anyways, I have no idea where this is gonna go. I don't know what's gonna happen. I have no idea about what's gonna happen. And that's very exciting. It's a very exciting, like, anything could happen kind of thing. I have no idea. I have no guesses, because the last book was so, like, the last half of the second book was so nuts that, like, I got nothing. I got nothing. I have no idea what's happening. So I'm very excited to continue reading that. If by some miracle I'm able to read that entire book before the weekend is up, then I'm going to start on The Hunger of the Gods, which is John Gwynne. And I remembered yesterday, I thought I only had 2 library books left from the library so that then I could finish those 2, take my Kindle off of airplane mode, and like they'd be gone. But I have 3. I have Lachlan's, which is the second book in the Foundryside series. So I have 3 books that I have to read. So maybe the Foundryside book I think is shorter than the John Gwynne, so I might try to pick up the Foundryside book. I'll do either one. I'll see how I'm feeling. I might do The Hunger of the Gods. I might do Lachlan's. Either one. So that's going to be the reading vlog. We have absolutely nothing planned for this weekend. It's going to be great. It feels really nice outside. It's cooled down some. It's only like 70 degrees. So I've been sitting outside a lot today. I'm going to try to make a Danish kringle today. So I'll show you some of that. And yeah, that's what I got planned for this reading vlog. So let's do it. First things first, this is the first and last time you will ever see this shirt. I look like a 1970s couch. I hate it. I bought it online and I thought I should be adventurous and I should get some colors and some patterns instead of black. I was very wrong. I hate this. I feel like a little old lady who works at a government building. Like, do you need some stamps? You know what I mean? Like, anyways, now I have no idea what I'm gonna wear today. Let's talk about the books. It is Saturday. I didn't update yesterday because there wasn't really much to update. I am 80% of the way through the Toll. This is a big book. I have this much left. I am enjoying it, but I can't figure out what's gonna happen. And I think that's part of, like, just Neal Schusterman. Like, if you had asked me after I finished the first book the direction that I thought that this series was gonna go, I wouldn't have had an answer. Maybe I do like this shirt. Am I in autumn? Anyways, I wouldn't have been able to give you an answer, and I have no idea what's happening, and I'm 80% of the way through the book. So after all of the chaos of the previous book, I feel like the characters have just been in chaos this whole time. They've broken apart. Everybody's kind of doing their own thing to try and get things back together. And I have no idea what's gonna happen. I have no idea. I don't know what's going on. I am concerned that this is not gonna be a happy ending kind of book. I'm into it. I'm not as into it as I was the last book. There's just something about it that I'm just not quite as into it as I was the last book. And I'm hoping that this last 20%, it'll be kind of similar to how it was with the other book, where like you get to the end of the book and you realize that all of those little tiny things that Neal Schusterman was saying are actually really important. Anyways, so that's where I am. I'm almost done. We have stuff that we've got to do today, so I won't be able to finish it until later on this evening. And my Kindle was almost dead, so I had to plug it up. It's charging. So yeah, so that's where I am with this. I'm so excited that I'm almost done with this, and I've only been reading it for 2 days. Like, and that has not been normal for me recently with reading something on my Kindle. I've been struggling with that, so I'm pretty proud of myself because this is a chunky book. It's a little more than 600 pages. So I'm excited, and I'm really excited that I'm almost done with this series. I'm not sure if I'm gonna read the short stories that just came out recently. I might get a copy just so that I have like the whole thing. I don't know. It kind of depends on how this ends, about if I'm going to read the short stories or not. Because I've heard like the short stories, they're not necessary. Like there's not really any new information that you get from them. But I do like these characters a lot. So I don't know. So that's where I am on this. I have decided to DNF the first binding and In a Garden Burning Gold. I'm just not interested in a Garden Burning Gold. I got to like 25%. I just wasn't interested in it. I think that the premise is pretty cool, but I just wasn't for me. And the same with the first binding. I rarely DNF that early. I try to make it to at least 20 to 30. And then and if I am gonna DNF, I try to like push a little further to see if it gets better. But yeah, after I quit listening to the first binding, I was like, I can't go back. I don't care to know anymore. So for audiobooks, I've restarted the last book in the Invisible Library series, which is what I was going to initially read last week, but then I remembered that I had the audiobooks from the library. So now that I don't have any more audiobooks from the library, I'm going to go back to this one and try to finish another series, which makes me so sad. Because while I love reading, finishing a series is really exciting because then I'm done with the series, but it's also sad because that series has 8 books and I am very attached to the characters. And I like how easy they are. Genevieve Cogman definitely follows a formula with the Invisible Library series. Every book follows the formula, but I like the formula. It's a good formula. I like the characters. Each book kind of has a plot within itself. There is a slight overarching plot, but so far it's only been kind of important for like maybe 5 out of the 8 books. I'd say there was about 3 that like didn't really mention the overarching plot at all, except for like in passing. But yeah, I really like that series. And so yeah, that's where I am with the reading. Richie and I are going to go to 2 Oktoberfests today. One is at a local brewery downtown. Another is at an orchard in Mount Airy. So I will try to film some of that. And yeah, that's it. I will be back when I have more to talk about. We're back. It is Monday. It is time to wrap up this reading vlog. I look like a mess. I've been editing and I need to finish this so that I can edit this so I can do some more editing. I didn't feel like getting myself dressed up to finish this reading vlog. So here we are. Okay, I did it. I finished the Toll. I finished the Arc of a Scythe series. It ended better than I could have asked for. I did not see what was going to coming. Like when I was reading that book and the last time I updated, I think I said I had 20% left. I only had 10% left and I still didn't fully comprehend what was going to happen until it happened. And I think that is just something about Neal Schusterman. This is the 4th book of his that I've read. I started the Unwind series, and when I got to the end of the book, that's when I was like, oh, is this a series? And it is, but it ends in such a way that, like, you know, you don't have to keep reading if you don't want to. But I think I am going to keep reading that series as well because this one was so good. It's not normal or it's not been my experience to read a fantasy series where each book continues to get better than the last. And this one, what was so great about this one was that after the second book, the second book ended with such a bang that all of the characters were like, it was sort of like all of the characters were all together and then they were like, everybody was doing their own thing. And so at the beginning of this book, everybody was off doing their own thing and it was chaos. And I wasn't sure how they were going to get back together to like finish, because I knew, you know how it's like, you know that like they have to come back together to finish the book, and that's exactly what happened. And I still, like, I haven't really been able to read anything else this weekend. Like, I tried to start another book. I just don't want to. It was so good. And it ended exactly how it was a good and like happy ending. It was such a good ending. Everything ended exactly how it should have, even though like I had no idea what that was going to be. But when it happened, I was like, yes, this is exactly what it should be. And wow, what a great series. And I cannot get past that this is a YA series. This is considered a YA series. It was so intricate, and this is why. Don't let anybody tell you that YA is like dumbed down or boring or whatever. It just depends on what YA you're reading. This was so good. Everything was so well thought out, and like wow, I'm a Neal Schusterman fan. I said in my last update that I wasn't sure if I was going to get the short stories. I think I am going to get the short stories, just because I don't want to be done with the characters yet. And so I feel like this is a way for me to have like a little bit more time with the characters. I cried. I was crying at the end. It was so good. It was so good. So yeah, I think in the last update I said that I had decided to DNF In a Garden Burning Gold. Was that what that one was called? Yeah, I just wasn't into it. So when I DNF'd that, I got another hold from the library, and so I started, it's actually perfect because it's a spooky-ish read. It's a book called The Return by Rachel Harrison. I am 33% of the way through this one. I think if I really wanted to, I could finish it today, but I probably won't, just because I have so much editing and stuff to do. I am really enjoying this one. So The Return follows a group of friends, and one of their friends, it's a group of 4 friends, one of their friends goes on a hike, mysteriously disappears. For 2 years, she's gone. Like, they think that she's, dead. And then one day she just shows back up, and everything is off. And they go on after, she's been back for a couple of months and she's been able to like recuperate a little bit. She comes back. She doesn't remember anything that's happened in the 2 years that she's been gone. Like, she has amnesia or whatever. And so they go on a friend's trip to this weird hotel. And that's where I'm at now. Like, they're starting the friend's trip. This is the first time that they've seen the friend who went missing. She's acting different. She looks different. What I thought was interesting was the author they were talking about how, like, you know, they see her for the first time and she's like talking about her appearance and she's like, she's missing a dimple. Well, I'm like, well, that doesn't happen. You know, dimples are, you know, it's that's like a thing. It's a genetic thing, you know. So I'm very invested in this. I have no idea where it's going. I'm not trying, like, this is just sort of like a palate cleanser read, and it came up at the perfect time because to me, fantasy romance and thrillers and cozy books are palate cleansers for the big fantasy series that I read. So this is just perfect that this one like came up right when I finished the Arc of a Scythe series. And so I'm having a great time listening to this one. I'm not thinking about where it's going. I'm just vibing with it. And, you know, it's great. I like it. I really like Rachel Harrison. This is the third book of hers that I've read. And so far, I am enjoying it. So, and what I also am enjoying is that the characters that she has in this one are pretty diverse. So I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, so I only read one book. I only finished one book for this reading vlog. DNF'd 2 technically, because I also returned the first binding. I just don't care to continue on with that at all. So yeah, so next week I am hopefully, well, I don't know, because this coming weekend is going to be pretty busy for me. Got some friends coming into town. I do have to do a lot of cleaning, as I always do when friends come into town. So it's probably going to be mostly audiobooks next weekend, but I do need to reread 2 books because I got ARCs for the second book in the series, and it's been a while since I read those, but it's been more than a year since I read those, and I don't quite remember enough to feel confident going into the second book. So I'll have 2 audiobooks that I'll need to get through after I finish the one I have from the library and this weekend. So, and those are, I'm going to reread The Daughter of Red Winter because I got the sequel, The Traitor of Red Winter, as an ARC, and then I'm going to reread One Dark Window because I got the sequel to Two Twisted Crowns, and I have the audiobook for One Dark Window, so that'll be great. And the audiobook for The Daughter of Red Winter is on Scribd. And I'm anticipating that I'll be able to get through those pretty quickly because I've read them already. So I'm thinking that I'll be able to do it really fast because it will only take I think it's only going to take a little bit to like refresh my memory of the major plot points for those 2. So, but yeah, that is the reading vlog. Thank you all for coming. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.